Players Pick podcast, picks and perspective with Chrys Johnson. Palpable paradox.
Hey y'all, it's your boy Chris here.
Polarity.
Players Pick podcast, episode number 76. First solo pod. I was born in 76, so kind of fond of that number. It's time for me to give you a little bit of an update, see what's going on, tell you about a few things and what's to come. So yeah, it's a beautiful day here in Northern California, and have my second cup of coffee in my Players Pick podcast mug. I have these available for you in a link below, so take a look at that. You might pick up a mug for yourself or for a friend. We also got some stickers and some t-shirts there too. So yeah, I don't know. A lot of you that have been tuning into the podcast probably know that last year when the pandemic hit, I ended up moving back to my hometown of Chico, hometown area, Chico, Corning, Redding, Red Bluff, Orland, Oroville, all Northern California. It's all my hometown, basically. I've lived in all these towns around here. And I'm excited to be back. It's been almost a year now. Matter of fact, what is it? Next week will be a year that I've been back in the hometown area. Very happy to be here, as much as it kind of sucks to be away from a nice city center like LA or San Francisco. I haven't really needed to be there because there hasn't been shows, right? We haven't had the tours coming through like normal. So for those of you who know that I do the artist relations previously for Jim Dunlop and EMG and Ampeg and Mackie back in the day, and these days for Kiesel. So yeah, you know, shows are starting to come back. I'm really excited about that. That should be a really interesting thing to see how we navigate being in a crowd again. Is that a thing? I mean, I know that vaccinations are super hip right now and everybody's jumping on the vax train. So hopefully that does slow down the spread of the vid. We'll see how it goes. I know that everybody's very optimistic and ambitious about getting back on the road. I hope that's really a thing, because I know most of us artists and most of the players out there kind of going a little nuts not being on the road. They wanted to get off the road to take a break, and that was probably good for a while, but now, you know, it's been too long. So yeah, let's see. Couple of bits of cool news. One is a while back, good friend, ultra amazing human, Devin Townsend, reached out to myself and like 49, close to 50 of his best friends, and had us all sprinkle a little bit of our personal fairy dust on one of his projects that he has coming up, which is really cool. I'm super honored to be considered for something like this, even it being a small thing. But there's lots and lots of great people on this project, with Devin at the helm, having the vision. It's a 2-album thing. One album's called Snuggles, and it's kind of like a healing, therapeutic album of sorts. And then another one that's called Puzzle, which is more involved and has some sort of movie element. It's still like, even though the music is kind of done at this point, there's still a lot of other things going on with it. I don't want to try to say too much about it because I don't know enough about the ins and outs and details. But I have had a small, tiny little fractional part in the new Devin Townsend project album that he has coming out later this year, I believe. So super honored. And some of you might know, I mean, it's kind of cool to be involved in something with him for any reason, but it just so happens to be roughly 10 years ago that he invited me to go out and do a London show, right? So he did a celebration show for technically the four Devin Townsend project albums. And it's a live in London box set called By a Thread. And I got to play second guitar on the last night for the Ghost album, which is super, super amazing and was very scary. Let's just put it that way. Playing naked acoustic guitar with a master like Devin, listening in and having your guitar in his ears. I don't know if I'd ever want to do it again, to be honest, because it was maybe if I had lots of practice. That was the whole point, though, with that. By a Thread was literally by a thread. Almost everybody that took part in that project, all the non-official members of his band, all like barely made it there, all barely learned the material and showed up, and we pulled it off by a thread. So that's what was up with that. But yeah, so 10 years later, here we are in 2021. That was 2011. The actual anniversary will be towards the end of the year in November. And I can't believe it's been 10 years already. That's crazy. Wow. So yeah, there'll be a new Devin Townsend project coming, Snuggles and Puzzle. They're different projects from Devin, as Devin fans know. Like, he's not stuck in any one genre or any one thing, but it's not his main thing that he's doing with these albums. It's definitely way more of an art piece with Puzzle that kind of reflects some of his understanding and experience during the pandemic, and Snuggles being more of his kind of interest in seeing people heal and have some relief from their trauma and the craziness of the world. So it's very cool and ambitious project. Very, very, very honored to be a part of that. So there's that. And let's see, I've got some guitars that I probably haven't showed off on the podcast. So I was going to show you a couple of guitars. Buy this mug. You want this mug. This mug will help support further podcasts. So maybe you buy 2 or 10. Link below. If you haven't liked and subscribed yet, smash them buttons, ring them bells. Okay, let's see. New guitars. We got late. Okay, so we'll go back. All these guitars, but not super brand new, but fairly recent. Kiesel HD headless Delos Strat style guitar with royal ebony fretboard. Look at those really sweet abalone inlays, alder body. That's a purple semi-chrome paint. I got gold frets and gold poles. It's an Illusionist Lee McKinney signature pickup, which I love. It's such a great pickup. And the beryllium in the neck. There's a little coil tap switch there. The 3-way. Normally have 5 ways, but a 3-way is kind of interesting. Something different on this particular guitar. And then a roasted maple neck. So there's that one. See, the other newest one has got to be probably the Kimsey guitar. So this is a 8-string X-type flame maple fretboard with the paw print at the 12th fret, and then a 2-tone crackle So it's a hot pink underneath and then a purple that kind of gets interwoven. And I'm not sure exactly how that process actually works, but you know that they do like kind of a blow dryer effect to get the black to separate like that. And then we have walnut and purple heart neck. This thing is crazy because to be honest, like I just wanted to have a cool looking 8 string that that I might be more interested in playing. And I wasn't ready for how well this thing was going to play and feel in my hands and then sound when I recorded. So I have I've been super inspired lately with this guitar, and as all these guitars, thankfully, um, have some sort of high inspirational value to them. And the tough part is having so many guitars. I know, poor me. But having so many great guitars to choose from, it can be difficult. And those of you out there that have a similar situation can probably feel my pain. You have to, you're playing one and you feel like the other ones are screaming at you sometimes. You're like, why have you picked me up? But so this one has sparked some writing, and I'm really excited about that. I say this every couple of years that I think I'm writing a guitar EP. But I actually think I am writing a guitar EP. I mean, I know I'm writing a guitar EP. Nothing crazy. I'm not an amazing guitarist, but I do like playing. So I am just kind of putting together something that I think that is achievable, and I might have a guest or two that you might know. I'm not going to say who those people are yet until we get that locked down, but or until it becomes more of a real thing. But a couple of really badass players have said yes to do a little guest on my 3-song EP. So we'll see where that goes. Playing this guitar on all of the EP though. I feel like I'm gonna probably dedicate this EP to my dog because it's her guitar. The next guitar, actually, this one came before that one. This 7-string Delos, 7-string Strat style guitar with dual hum, but 3 knobs. I love the red tortoiseshell pick guard and the rosewood fretboard, the white block inlays, matching red tortoiseshell truss rod cover, and this one's got independent volume for each pickup. Oh no, I'm sorry, independent tone for each pickup, not independent one master volume. That's silly. So this one's pretty sick. And it's got a roasted maple neck, and I think it's a really phenomenal guitar. It's funny though, it came and I was super excited, and then the Kimsey guitar showed up, and I was kind of like, all right, I'll get back to you. I got some work to do with this one. So I've spent all this time mostly playing the other one, but I have been picking this one up regularly to try and continue to make good friends with it. And then the other newest guitar in the collection, the latest one, which I have played this one a considerable amount, is this SC3. And I really am vibing on this. I was trying to go for kind of a vintage LP feel. It's got ebony fretboard, white block inlays, mahogany body, mahogany neck, all painted, satin on the back of the neck. Look at that heel joint. Nice access. Again, I'm loving the Illusionist bridge, the beryllium neck. They slay. And I really like the uncovered vibe and look for this on the bridge. 4 knobs, volume, tone. Yeah, not a lot to say other than it plays really, really well. And I'm still kind of making friends with it, but it's a riff machine. It's like that. It has that 24 3/4 scale length. So yes, the answer is yes. This is beast. All right, so those are the newest guitars. I've got like a billion more, but most of those have been shown off or something. If you want me to show more guitars, I can always do that another time. Another bit of news. Recently, we were able to make a post on the Kiesel page about Dr. Dre. We have had the great opportunity to work with Kurt Chambers, who is his primary right-hand man in the studio. He plays bass and guitar and keys for Dr. Dre, and just an endless amount of studio sessions, because there's a lot of work going on in Dre's studio, a lot of work that you might not even realize is going on there. You're like, what has Dre put out recently? You're like, oh, Dre's working on all kinds of things. And when the discussion began a little over a year, probably more than a year ago, it's like, well, what is Dre like in a guitar? And Kurt was like, well, it's like the primary thing is it's got to be noiseless. Like we can't have any hum or buzz of any kind. So I was like, all right, cool. So he's like, dude, we should just call up your boys at EMG and see if we can just put a nice set of EMGs in there, maybe the X's. And I was like, yeah, dude, that actually sounds like great. You think he's into that? He's like, yeah, he'll totally be into the EMGs. So got the call, the boys over at EMG, talked to my guy, Tommy, over there, and he sent over a nice set. I think we did the 57 in the bridge, brushed black chrome 57 in the bridge of his Delos. And then I want to say it's SAVX ×2 on the neck in the middle for the single coils. And then it was just like, well, what type of vibe, And it's like, and he's like, dude, just jet black, just let's murder it out. Well, okay, cool, that sounds good. So we came with a couple different options for that, and then realized maybe it was just a tinge too blacked out. So we gave it a little bit of light, little sprinkle with the abalone. So we did abalone knobs, and we did abalone inlays and abalone logo. But the rest of it's pretty sparse. So the Delos, the Drelos, that's my favorite thing ever that I get to say. The Drelos is an alder body. It's a matte flat satin black pit guard, the EMGs in there, the abalone knobs, rosewood fretboard, roasted maple neck, and then a matching headstock with the abalone inlay or abalone logo. And then we made a matching bass, 5-string bass with a PJ setup. So that was the cool project that it took longer because people are super busy, and we wanted to take our time and make sure we made something really cool for that camp. And we're already making more guitars, more instruments for Dr. Dre, and Kurt Chambers are excited to do some more stuff. There was a bass that Kurt has been using in the studio prior to Dre getting his new bass, and it was a JB5, so a 5-string J style with the antique ash, and he kept taking it over to Dre's sessions, and he'd use it on a few things, and nobody really made a big notice or anything. But then they worked on a new session, and Kurt plugged in and started playing, and Dre looked over and said, "Hey, hold up. That's the sound right there." whatever you got going on, this is what we're using going forward. He's like, oh, it's this bass. It's like this is the tone, where the tone's coming from in this signal chain. He's like, all right, well, that's the thing. So Dre fell in love with this other bass, this J5 JB5 bass, and so we get a chance to make him another bass, and that's pretty cool. He's not officially on the roster. He's not officially like a signed artist. I mean, who's gonna actually sign Dr. Dre? I don't know. Not probably not me, but I get to work with and for him in this respect, so we can make cool stuff for his studio and keep the sounds unique for him, and be a part of his legacy somehow, right? So that's cool. So he sent us a picture, and we were able to post that, and broke a few brains here and there, trying to connect, like, how in the world does Kiesel work with Dr. Dre? But that's me, it's me knowing Kurt Chambers for a long time through the EMG days. Like we've been friends and done promotions throughout the years, and it just got into a deeper state when I was living in LA for a year, just prior to the pandemic. And yeah, so super stoked that came to fruit. There's a bunch of other projects out there that I hope to be able to announce to you guys at some point. This is a guitar pick podcast, kind of. So I don't have anything super new, but I have finally come around to playing these picks from BHL. These are pretty sweet. I forget how to say what they are, but check out Brock over at BHL Technologies. This guy's make such incredible picks. These ones, they have kind of like a film on them. I honestly can't remember the name of these. I should have wrote that down before I started recording. But in the beginning, I wasn't sure about these picks because they feel a little bit slippery. But as you kind of sweat just a little tiny bit and you get your oils on them, they start to grip more and more. Really, really fantastic release from the string. But it's like Umphrey, I forget what the name of the material is in the process, but Brock over at BHL, what a great dude, and what a great company and picks. You guys have probably seen me talk about his other pick. This is the Hodor. This thing is just so ridiculous. It's a thickie, and it's got a little difficult to see, but it's got a bit of a concave on the thumb side. It's just perfect, and a little bit of a concave for the first finger on this side. So it's concaved this way, and then it's concaved this way. So it's really comfortable. It's very very subtle. One of the fastest picks, I swear. If you're all about a slick, fast release, man, this is definitely worth your time to check it out if you like thick picks. I put this one right next to my favorite thick pick of all time, which is the Dunlop Flow 420. I had a part in creating this one with Jimmy Dunlop back in the day when I was over at Dunlop. So, and if you don't know, I mean, it's just me being at home smoking weed and seeing people talk on the forums about how that Dunlop needs to make another cool thick pick. And I was like, bro, we need to make a 4.2. And he was like, we'll call it the 420. Take the point out of there. So that sounds great, man. I'm into it. So we did. And the team there knocked it out of the park. But I digress. Don't forget to check out BHL and their picks. Much loved Brock over there. Makes a lot of great picks. And yeah, I mean, I don't really have a whole lot to say about picks at the moment. I need to buy some more picks, or some of y'all need to send me some cool picks so I can try them out. And we can go from there. So yeah, and we have more episodes coming. I'm trying to get some bigger names, and some bigger names are saying yes, but they're saying not right now. So we'll see how that goes. But I'm looking at getting a few more bass players on the podcast. I've heard a handful of you have written comments and sent me messages, said, "Hey, this podcast is great, but what about more bass players?" And so I'm working on that. I've got a couple lined up. I'm excited. I just heard back from Billy Gould from Faith No More. He said he's in. We're going to try to set that up for next week. Super excited about that. And I've got a handful of other great players that I look forward to having on here and chatting with. And that's my update. So you've heard from me. You know that there is some Players Pick podcast merch at the link below. Get your mug, get your t-shirt, get your stickers. And this isn't a pay. I don't get paid to do this podcast. I just do it in my spare time. And even though Dunlop and Kiesel support the podcast, it's just through gear. It's just like I don't get paid for that, which I'm not complaining. Don't get me wrong. I love free picks. I love getting some pedals now and again. And you see all the awesome guitars I have. So I'm not complaining at all, but it does take a lot of time. And if you enjoy the content that I'm giving you, maybe you want a mug. Put some coffee in the mug. If you don't like coffee, you can put tea in the mug. Don't like tea, you can put water or OJ. It's up to you. Maybe just water. You seem like a water person. Just drink. You need more water. Don't worry about the coffee. Just drink the water. Cool. Thanks for tuning in. I appreciate you. And thanks for tuning in. Make sure you subscribe, share it with your friends. If there's a good podcast out of the last 75 podcasts that I've done, don't be afraid to share it with somebody and be like, "Hey man, have you checked this out?" We're growing, and that's super good. I'm super stoked. We're almost here right around 700 subscribers on YouTube now. And gosh, man, I'm so thankful for that. So it would be nice to get to 1,000 and grow from there. So, tell a few friends, maybe a couple friends hit the subscribe button, and maybe we all hang out sometime when the vid isn't such a thing. Peace, friends. Have a good day.
Players Pick Podcast, Picks and Perspective with Chrys Johnson.